Well, hello, the internet. You're with Got That Funk, and this is going to be a video about my thoughts on feminism and what it means to me. This was inspired by my friend Princess Anarchy, who asked me to participate in a collaboration video on this exact subject. However, for personal reasons, I guess she's having some kind of technical difficulty. She wasn't able to finish the collab. So I thought I would just put my own video out there about what I personally think about feminism, what it means, what its function is, and why it's important. Okay, but before I get into all that, I just want to say a week or two ago, I saw a video by Armith Pur responding to Princess Anarchy. And she was basically mocking the suggestion that men should have any say about feminism whatsoever. Why should you even ask men to be a part of the collaboration? Why do we care what men think? Well, I'd like to address that point really quickly. You don't need to care what men think. No one's suggesting you have to care, you personally have to care, or that women in general have to care what men think. But I would say that for any movement to make any kind of real progress in the world at large, you need the cooperation and understanding from as many people as possible. And frankly, since men are part of the problem, I would have thought that it's pretty important that men start to understand these issues and accept them as valid. So that's my opinion about why, you might consider men and their opinion having some relevance. Okay. Anyway, my own personal thoughts on feminism. I wasn't really particularly aware of feminism until the late 60s and early 70s when there was like a women's lib thing going on in America. And I am old enough to remember laying awake at night, hearing my parents arguing about whether or not my mom was allowed to get a job. And my dad's refrain would usually be something along the lines of, "No wife of mine is getting a job. I don't want everyone in town thinking that I can't afford to support my family." And my mom would come back was, "Look, no one's questioning your ability to support the family. I just want some spending money for myself because I know it's tight for us," and all that kind of thing. So anyway, haven't times changed? Now we're in a situation where in most families, anyways, in the Western world for sure, both parents are in a position where they need to work in order to cover all of the basic requirements of running a household. But that does not mean that just because both partners are equal in terms of needing to work to make the household run, that both partners are equal in terms of their earning ability or their positions, because more often than not, women still do most of the household uh, maintenance and running the certainly the indoor part of the household, and men often get off without anywhere near as much input in that. That's more of a domestic feminist issue, and it's something that I think is important, but nowhere near as important as the more social issues that feminism tries to address. And from my point of view, feminism is a really good thing, and separate from humanism in this sense. Humanism is all about equality between all human beings, and that includes between the sexes. And I am all about equality. I think that's the overall goal of feminism is equality. However, I want to stipulate that I think feminism is distinct from humanism in this sense. There are certain issues out there, many of them, that affect women that either don't affect men at all or affect men so indirectly that men can get away with ignoring those issues. So feminism exists to me, in part, to raise awareness of these issues, to suggest solutions and address these issues, including creating institutions to deal with certain issues. And that's exactly what happens. Rape crisis centers and so on being a relevant example, but there's lots of examples you could come up with, and I'm not going to list them all off. But there are lots of issues that either disproportionately affect women or only affect women. And I think it's important that we recognize this and join together to do something about it, whether you're male or female. Another thing I think that's important about feminism, from my point of view personally, is to get men and women who think otherwise to realize that maybe you don't like the idea of patriarchy theory. But the cold fact of the matter is that most positions of political influence in the world, most positions of judicial influence in the world, most high earning jobs, whether they're corporate or otherwise in the world, are the province of men. And women aren't necessarily totally unrepresented, but the disproportionate favoritism toward men is, in my opinion, outrageous. And when it comes to equality, we all are supposed to have equal rights, and that's great. But rights are something that you get by virtue of being born. Privilege is something where some people have a certain thing and other people are denied that thing based on some arbitrary criteria, in this case, their sex or their gender. So I would respectfully suggest to people who think otherwise, whether you like the word patriarchy or not, we do live in a world that is dominated by men for the interests of men. And that is a privilege. We are privileged. Men don't like being called privileged. They think they seem entitled to the positions that they hold in society. But it is a privilege. If it wasn't a privilege, if it was a right, then it would be equal to everyone. In other words, we wouldn't have the problem where women are shut out of high paying jobs and political influence and so on, to the degree that they are at the moment. So, feminism to me is about making men and women aware that the way the situation is privileges men to the direct disadvantage of women. That's really important. And that is, in a nutshell, what feminism means to me. Um, so, chew on that. Let me know what you think. This has Got That Funk. Thanks for watching. And until next time, may all your ups and downs be ups.